Hey guys, it's Chili here. Welcome back to RPG Project Twin. Today's video is going to be a lot of planning. There's going to be story time with Chili. I'm going to have a little bit of a rant. I'm going to talk some philosophy and some direction of the project and of the development. Alright, let me tell you what I know about the project so far. And I say so far because it could change drastically over the course of this series. It might be nothing close to what we start with or the idea we have in our head. And you might tell me, Chili, I mean, if you're going to make a big, ambitious project like this, you got to have a design document. You got to have all this stuff written out, predestined. But nah, development is an incremental process. Some people, when they're having their dinner, they like to eat, all their peas, and then they start on the carrots, and then they start on the mashed potatoes, and then they eat the steak or whatever. But that's not how you do it. You got to have a little bit of everything. So you don't create the entire design document, write out the whole story, then design the whole engine, and then you don't write all the framework code, and then write the tool set, the level editor, and then the engine, and then create the game and the levels and the script, and then do the testing. That's not how it works. You start off by writing a little bit of framework code, you get your engine going. As you're building your engine, you realize you need more tools, so you keep adding to the framework. When your engine grows, you're going to want to have levels to test it, and so you start making a level editor. As you grow the engine, you grow the level editor. You're creating levels some of them will become the final game levels, some will be scrapped altogether. You can't have everything in neat little compartments. It all gets fucking mixed up, and that's the thing that fucks some people over because they have, bad OCD. They can't deal with that kind of complexity, with that kind of sophistication. But if you want to be a game programmer, any kind of developer, you're gonna have to be a sophisticated person. You can't be a simple savant who likes to deal with things in very neat little packages. That's not the way it works. I mean, in the reality of things, you need a fucking balance. You can't just jump in there gung-ho with no ideas, with no plans. But what I want to get forward is, as a beginner making games, it's better to do less planning than more planning, because you just want to get dirty, you want to get experience, right? Anyways, I just got sidetracked there with a little bit of a rant, but yeah, you expect to hear rants like this from now and then in this series. It's a whole mishmash of things. My ideas about developing games, my ideas about design, specific recipes I might show you. It's all going to be in here. But yeah, so the game is going to be an RPG type deal, but not like a JRPG where you go through menus and you select actions, because that's boring to me. I want to make it an action RPG. And the action mechanics are going to be of a twin stick shooter, so think something like, Binding of Isaac or Nuclear Throne, which I'll probably be borrowing heavily from throughout this series. We'll definitely be implementing some kind of progression system since it's an RPG. I don't have any idea of what it is. I mean, I have a bunch of ideas. I don't have any clue as to which one I'm going to take. It might be progression by getting loot and getting stronger that way. It might be by gaining levels, buying stuff. Could be a combination of those. Don't know yet. Going to want to try out a whole bunch of different things. Graphics are going to be 2D graphics with the Chili framework. I want to be able to, those of you who watch the tutorial videos, you'll be comfortable in that environment. And I want to show off what kind of cool shit you can make just using the framework. Maybe encourage some other people to make some of their own community projects and stuff like that and share it in the Planet Chili community. Unlike previous games in the tutorial series, it's not going to be all on one screen. It's going to be scrolling. Probably background's going to be tile based. It's going to need an editor, a level editor for that, and probably going to use tiled. Probably gonna have some degree of procedural generation in there, but not all. So it's gonna have like predetermined patterns or sections, and then they will be stitched together procedurally, and then they'll probably be modified procedurally. I don't know. That's just an idea, but it might be what we'll go with. Let's talk about the graphic style. I mean, it's a twin stick shooter. You basically got two choices. You can be straight down, or you can be maybe 3/4 view. For 2D. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the 3/4 view because straight down looks like ass. Even though straight down is easier to program for in a lot of ways, it looks like ass and it's boring. So 3/4 view, definitely. Now for the graphics, I mean, for 3/4 view, you could have sprites that face right, left, up, down. You could have sprites that face in 8 directions or even more. But what we're going to do is we're going to have sprites facing in only 2 directions, left or right. You can move up and down on the screen, but it won't change the sprite. So, and that's the way that Nuclear Throne does it. If you look at this sprite sheet from Nuclear Throne, you see that they only have sprites facing to the right. And you might say, well, Chili, you said right and left, but if you want to move, you want to make a sprite face to the left, if it's facing to the right, you just have to mirror it. So you don't need to store two versions. You can just store one version and then mirror it when you're drawing. That's what we're going to do. But yeah, so we're going to have very simple, because if we do it this way, we only need one animation, a side-facing animation, and that's great because you can find tons of sprites for just animations that face in one direction, especially since for 3/4 you can use platformer sprites for a 3/4 game. So this means we can find a shit ton of free resources, or maybe not so free, but hopefully nobody's looking resources, you know what I mean? Wink wink. And that'll make my life easier because I'm not a fucking artist, and I don't have, even if I were, I don't have the time to be generating a shit ton of assets here. And I'm also going to be making the graphics kind of composite. So instead of having an entire sprite drawn, what it'll have is it'll have like the head will be one part and the legs will be a different part. So what I have to begin with is the head isn't animated and only the legs are animated, and that makes my life easier because then I can have a custom maybe head that would be my avatar, the Chili face, the Guy Fawkes mask, and I can put that on just some legs I find from anywhere. So I can customize it, but I still don't have to draw an entire sprite. And my basic plan to start off with here is to get some kind of a minimum prototype going here that allows us to play with the basic game loop, to tweak it, to get some ideas, to see where we want to go. So I'm not starting the game with the menu system or by creating a level editor. I'm starting the game by creating the thing that is going to be the most fucking important part of the game, because that's the thing you got to get right. If you don't have that, you don't got shit. In these first few videos, I'm going to be tweaking some preliminary graphics, just getting a feel for things. I mean, when you're just creating a prototype, you can probably just get away with, you know, colored boxes or whatever, circles. But I kind of want to keep this engaging. It's going to be boring with just boxes. So I'm going to start off with, you know, a little bit of graphics here and there, keep you guys interested in how the progress of the project goes. In this prototype, you know, I want to have enemies, I want to have the character, the main character obviously, I want to have some attacks, I want to maybe put in some basic background graphics, and at the end of it, maybe I'll do a little demo test where you have to fight a couple of waves of enemies with some movement patterns, or, you know, maybe I'll do like a boss battle thing or something. And I'm trying to keep these videos short, so here's where I'll cut it off this time. Next time, we're going to start to look at the actual code and maybe create some shitty assets. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button. It helps a lot. And I will see you soon with some more RPG Project Twin.